Hi, it's Kate, and it's time for If Kate Can Do It, You Can Do It crafts. Today, our craft is this beautiful crayon resist snowflake that Miss Leanne has put together for us. The only things that you need at home are a cup with some water in it and maybe a piece of wax paper to keep everything neat and tidy. Everything else is included in your kit. Watercolor paper, which is, you're gonna have 2 of these that you can create, a watercolor paint set, a white crayon, paintbrush, and table salt. So all of that will be included. And I guess we might as well get started. Let's see, here we go. The first thing we will notice are the snowflakes that are pre-printed on your watercolor paper.
Oh, I see them, Kate.
Okay. So those pre-printed lines need to be heavily traced with your white crayon. And this was what Miss Leanne told me when she showed me how to do this. She said the hardest thing to do is remember where you have already traced because it's white crayon and you can't see it. So you trace it with lots of pressure on your crayon so that when we put the watercolor over it, it will, as the name suggests, it will crayon resist. The wax in the crayon will prevent the paint from penetrating the areas that have the crayon on them. So don't be afraid to push really, really hard on your crayon and be sure to keep track where you have traced.
I can see that would be difficult to remember.
Right, that's the tricky part. But the good news is if you can't remember, just do it again. Right. It doesn't matter, you can do it as many times as you want. And the more you do it, the more the crayon will resist. Okay, so our crayon resist is on there. Now our next step is to start painting. And Miss Leanne suggests for this pretty snowflake scene, that pinks and blues will look really nice. But of course you can do whatever you want.
I'm going to bring that up close.
The sky is the limit. Okay. And the other secret she told me was to use lots of water and to try not to paint over too much, to keep going and just keep it going and adding more and more water as you go, because if you paint over too much, the resistance of the crayon will give up and then we won't have the effect.
Any kind of pattern of colors, right, Kate?
You sure can. Miss Leanne has added some white curlicues to this one, and she also, and I forgot to do it, she also suggested doing some polka dotting, which I'll only have polka dots on one side because I forgot to do it earlier.
That's okay.
But lots of water. She told me not to be afraid to use lots of water. And keep it wet, because the last step that we're going to do, the painting needs to still be wet when we do it. And it doesn't really matter what direction you go. It all looks, I think, pretty darn great.
I think it's lovely.
I love these colors together. I think they look marvelous. So you just keep going until your whole paper is colored. And the swirlier it is, I think the cooler it looks.
And Miss Kate,
yeah?
If you mix the pink and the blue,
what color do you get, Kathy?
It's looking like some purple.
That's right. Purple is pretty. Okay, so we're pretty darn good. Now we're gonna make it all wet. We want it to be all wet.
So you add extra water after the paint?
Well, we really need water for this last step.
Huh, okay.
Because if there's no water, it won't work. And Miss Leanne also warns us that it is gonna buckle up like mine is, but not to worry because it will flatten out when it dries. And she includes some steps for your big person. If yours is really bumpy lumpy, your big person can help you flatten it out.
Okay.
Okay, so now we take the table salt and we put it in our one hand and we sprinkle it onto our crayon resist work of art. And see how the salt is drawing the water towards it?
Let's
These
see.
little lumpy bumpies. And that when it dries, you get this frosty effect.
Cool.
It is cool. So, and she also warns not to go too crazy with the salt because I guess it will, a little goes a long way is what her message was.
So the salt is to make those little polka dots?
The salt makes this frosty effect. These white polka dots are places that I crayoned.
Okay, I'm gonna try and get real close. Okay.
So that, I think, does it on the crayon resist. So now you just let it dry. And of course you can touch up the edges if you want because there's no salt on the edges. So, you know, if you missed a couple spots, don't panic. You can touch that right up.
That's so pretty.
And that's done. So
Hey, is there a book?
There is a book, but before we do the book, I wanted to tell you that Miss Leanne had a couple of suggestions of what you can do with your crayon resist art.
Oh.
You could, of course, use it on the wall. You could use it as a window decoration.
That would be pretty.
Windows are frosty sometimes, they look great. You could give it as a gift, or you could even frame it.
I think framing it would be
Wouldn't that be
pretty.
cool?
And I bet your big person would keep a framed one for a long time.
Because it's so beautiful.
I still have some from my kids.
Okay. So, and there's another craft included in your kit, and maybe Kathy can zoom in on that. We're not going to demonstrate it today. Miss Leanne thinks it's pretty easy.
Snow painting. Cool.
And it looks like lots of fun to me. I'm kind of sad we didn't get to demonstrate that one, but she thinks you can handle that all on your own, I guess. So,
Probably bringing snow inside would be a little messy.
Bringing snow inside would be
For the
so much
library.
fun, though.
It would.
Okay, so yes, today's book that goes with our craft is The Secret Life of a Snowflake.
They have a secret life.
They apparently do.
Cool.
And look at that gorgeous snowflake.
It is beautiful.
So fancy.
And all snowflakes are different, right?
That's right.
Just like all kids are different.
All kids are different and all snowflakes too. So if you would like to check this book out, you can do that through Lithgow to Go. And did I say that it's by Kenneth Liebrecht?
You did not.
And so you could go to the catalog and
There we
request
go.
this book and check it out from Lithgow to Go. All right, well, thank you so much for watching today. I want you to remember to stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
This is Kate and Kathy's Productions signing out.